I was just talking to a friend of mine last night. She's here from the UK, and she's part of the BLM crew there. And we were having this conversation about political Blackness, which apparently is a thing in the UK, particularly amongst South Asians, right? And folks are saying that politically, their social position puts them closer to Black people than it does anybody else. And we were pulling that apart last night and saying, well, yeah, only when it's safe.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
So I was explaining to her, I asked her, I said, do you know who Paul Mooney is? You know what I mean?
Oh, that's funny.
Yeah.
Oh, that's a great. If no, we're going to have fun the next couple hours as I pull up all the relevant materials.
The Black man in America is the most copied man on this planet, bar none. Everybody want to be a nigga, but nobody want to be a nigga. How about that question?
But basically what he's saying is everybody wants to be Black, but nobody really wants to be Black.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
That's the kind of thing that I feel like we really need to coalesce around because, Kamal, you're wearing this shirt that's talking about identity politics, and I love that. And I love it for a bunch of reasons. One, I think whenever people of color talk about racism, we get accused of playing identity politics or pulling the quote-unquote race card.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm really feeling what Maxine Waters said because she showed all the way out at the CBC. And I was like, this is a great example of what it means to come collect your people. Because one of the things she said was that we have to stop trying to construct ourselves in ways that are safe for white people to digest.
Ooh.
You feel me?
Yeah.
I was like, come on and teach. You know what I mean?
Oh, Lord.
And that, I think that was a big deal for her to say at a place like the Congressional
an
Black
elected
Caucus.
official.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
She was really putting it on.
Yeah.
But the other thing she said was, so when people tell us, oh, you're pulling the race card, what you actually need to say is, yeah, I'm pulling that card and I got a bunch of other cards I'm ready to pull. You know what I mean? And so, the whole thing around identity politics, which actually comes out of a Black feminist framework, right? Comes from our Black feminist grandmothers like Barbara Smith, right? And Audre Lorde, right? And even, sci-fi writers like Octavia Butler, right? Identity politics is about your experiences in a world, in a set of systems that doesn't want you to exist, okay? So there's a contradiction happening where now white liberals, right, and white moderates are saying, oh, man, well, we lost the election because Black people didn't vote, so F you, BLM, you know what I'm saying? And we lost the election because we spent too much time on identity politics. But let's make sure that we do everything that we can to galvanize white working class people.
Yeah.
What kind of shit? I'm like, oh, so you only like some kind of identity politics.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Well, that's the normal identity. That's the normal identity.
But you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And also, it's a strategy that hasn't worked, like ever. Right? So there's something in there for me about us as BYP 100 has given us the gift of being unapologetic in our pursuit of freedom and justice, not just for Black people. No, there's no such thing as Black supremacy. People actually do say that to me.
Oh, I've heard that, yes.
I'm like, where the hell they do that at?
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But
the day before the ships arrived in Africa?
Right,
yeah.
Right. But also, how do we have each other's back and not being gaslighted by a system that actually doesn't want us to survive? How do we keep ourselves insulated from being made to feel like we have no idea what's going on? We don't see what's going on in front of our faces. We don't experience the things we're experiencing because the people who hold a majority of the power and resources in this country don't want us to feel that way.
Yeah.
They don't want us to be like, oh, well, who's really at fault right here is, people like Donald Trump who've amassed billions while there's tent cities all over my city, right? So we have to get better at this kind of cross-racial, cross-ethnic co-conspiring. And we also need to be really clear that we need to collect people for whom the only way of resistance is being respectable. There's no more respectability in this world. There's no time to waste, right? We could sit around and watch CNN all day and lament about how terrible it is and then go back to our lives. But pretty soon, if it hasn't happened already, your life is not going to be the same level of normal.
Mm-hmm.
And so you're going to have to figure out who are my homies,
Yes.
right? Who are my homies? Who's got my back?
Yeah.
And that means you got to have other people's backs.
Yes.
So get up and start doing something.